Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. We're back. So for a few weeks, you guys have not had a wrap-up show. It's been a little bit sparse on the episodes. And even prior to that, we had some couple of weeks where it was still sparse on the episodes. So in full transparency, Evil Neely, as you guys know me, Wendell's younger brother, the long forgotten Neely brother, concocted this showgram with my friend Andrew here some time ago and named it the Wrap-Up Show. And we brought in Ruben as a co-host, and Ruben is a fine gentleman. I don't think either one of us have any personal issues with Ruben.
No,
we just have a philosophical differences in the direction of the way this show is going to go going forward. And when I concocted this show, ladies and gentlemen, it was supposed to be largely based on comedy, laughs, having fun. My thought process was maybe to catch up once in a while with old CMSers that you guys know. They're no longer actively on the CMS or as frequently as they used to be. And maybe, interview somebody here or there if we could, if that was fine. But I didn't want it to be solely an interview-based show. And it at times did devolve into that a little bit. That's Ruben's forte, and we appreciate him for doing that. But Evil is not in the business of being the next Eddie Trunk, Guru, even an Ian Scoto Rocks, if you look that up on the old YouTube. These guys have the interview programs covered. And there's a lot more, as you guys know. Someone we'll discuss a little bit later does a lot of interviews as well. If you want interviews, they're out there, and they're fine. They're good at it. Ruben is a good interviewer. We go to 11 and go check out his interviews. But to be in the interview game means at times that you might find yourself, if you host a podcast or a radio show, where you're dealing with managers, PR people, and the artists themselves. Topics they want to discuss, topics they don't want to discuss. Maybe some of those are legitimate. Maybe those are not legitimate. In the end, Evil doesn't give a flying F. I just don't care. I'm not here to interview people, not here to help them push their product. That's fine if they want to come on and do that, and they're cool with us in the way that we do our show here. But I'm not ever going to hang my hat on that. They have their own platforms to do that. That's what social media is for. Every time one of these artists make a release of a new single, a new song, a new video, whatever it is, show dates, what do? They go on their social media and announce that. They go to YouTube and put a video up. They don't need every single guy out here rediscussing, oh, so you did that? Well, we already saw you did that. Thanks. So the philosophical differences that arose between me and Ruben, and I'm going to be completely transparent here, are that he at times wants to cater his dialogue of the show for the interviews and the people he's interviewing. Doesn't want to rock the boat, doesn't want to bring up anything that might disturb the guests or future guests that he anticipates having in his shows. And mind you, I don't even need to go into him. If you guys research Ruben, he does interviews for a lot of other platforms not related to the Wrap-Up Show. So sometimes me, being evil, might bring some bad feelings or comments or hurt to some people. Maybe some people might not like my take or how I approach things. And that could, in some ways, slide downhill towards Ruben. So I didn't want that to happen to him. And I don't think that he wanted to be a part of a show where we got into rumors and innuendo. There's going to be a lot of alleged things in today's episode. Yep. So right from the get-go, we're going to say that we were not present for any of these things that we're going to discuss here today, but they are all over social media. They're on standard rock and roll metal news websites. It's not like me and Andrew are going to discuss something that's taboo or not has not been released or been spoken about.
Yeah,
So
you've already kind of have an idea of the things that we're going to talk about, and even details about the situation that I know that well, we'll get into it, but we'll put it this way: I'm still going to be careful in what I say.
yeah, and
Just
we all are, because again, there's could be some things that have been posted on social media that are alleged and rumors or innuendos. We're just reading what we see with our own eyes, and all of you out there also see. So to pretend like that elephant isn't in the room is kind of fake to me. The evil's not going to be fake. And to act like it doesn't exist or to wait for the justice system to come handle it. Well, how is the justice system handling the Epstein files right now, ladies and gentlemen? How many of those people have stood trial? So if we're waiting for the justice system to bring us justice, we might all be dead and waiting long before it ever happens. They
put
have a
it
way
this
of sometimes coming around hundreds of years after people have been wrong and say, oh, yeah, by the way, we did wrong them, but they're dead, so let's just keep going. So what I'm trying to say here is I'm not of that mindset. It's 2026. It's the digital age. What happens with that mindset is that's an old boomer mindset. They think that they can hide. Well, if I haven't been convicted, no. Here's the deal, pal. We don't need a judge and a jury sometimes to make us aware of what you're really up to. When we know it in our heart and we know it true to be fact, we see it with our own eyes in certain cases. We don't need to wait around for a judge or jury to tell me this is what this guy's up to. Do I need to wait around when someone's breaking in my car in the middle of the night to figure out, is he really breaking in my car? Did the jury have to convict him of breaking in the car for me to know he was breaking in my car? No, we didn't. So I'm just saying that's how some people view it. That's fine. You want to wait for the Lady Justice to handle it, and then you'll finally talk about it. That'll be years down the line, or not at all. What I want to do is discuss things that are topical and current that are going on in the rock and music scenes, do it with a sense of humor, but also a sense of honesty, and not skirt it when something's ugly. When something's ugly and smells like shit, Evil's going to say it's ugly and it smells like shit. And that ruffles some feathers. And when it ruffles feathers, it makes other people not get the interviews they seek or have a hard time getting those interviews or get blowback for their interviews because of the other show they do with someone else. I don't want that. But that's because I'm not in the interview game. So I'm no longer going to compromise the show to do interviews that, quite frankly, I'm not always invested in and don't really interest me. And I can find about 20 to 25 people interviewing those same people on YouTube every single day if I just click the name in there and type it in the old search box. So, what we're going to do here today is discuss some things that many of you in the CMS world would be aware of, many of you in the rock or metal world would be aware of, players that we do kind of have some communication with, as Andrew will explain here. And some allegations and some things that are going on to people that are current and topical in the rock and metal world. So, go ahead and take it from there, Andrew. And for the record, Andrew will be coming on the show more frequently with Evil. There might be some shows and segments where I'm just going to come on and rant and rave about something that's going on that I just want to talk about. There might be times where I'm bringing Andrew and other people on, or other people to fill in for Andrew when he can't be here. But the show will continue on. You'll probably see, I think you're going to have more laughs and humor because it's just going to be
yeah.
more of us cutting it up and going over stupid shit that goes on in the rock and metal scenes, um, without any care for if that ruffles Tracy Guns, Don Dock, whoever's feathers, whatever. I don't care. I want to hear about that anymore. If any of those people have a problem, they can come seek out Evil and have a discussion. They can come on the show and debate it with me if that's what they really want to do. Although I guess most of them will just ignore me and not do that. That's fine too. I'm not here, by the way, let's make this clear. I don't know if this can register any clear. I'm not here for shekels. Okay, that's Aiken and
Yeah, nothing's
Neely's.
behind the paywall
Maybe,
here.
yeah, maybe that's what Ruben wants, is more clicks for an interview to get to be seen and then go on a blabbermouth and all this kind of stuff to get more notoriety. Hey, if that's your game, totally have at it. Everything I do for employment outside of this has nothing to do with this, has no bearing upon this. They don't care what I do here on my podcast because they don't care about rock music. They don't listen. Who, what, rock? Don, isn't he dead? That's how they would probably view it. So there's no,
How
it says
dare you say that?
they just don't care. It has nothing to do with what I do at work, and then they don't intermingle, so it doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is, and since I don't need this to survive, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this to laugh and have a good time. I was doing it with Andrew in private in chat because sometimes we were pointing out the hypocrisies, the humor, the fucking shenanigans that go on when these scenes with the music and the people related to it and everything around it and the CMS particularly. So that's how the show has been arrived. That's how it's going to continue. Uh, if you want the interviews with X number of people, we go to 11, go find Eddie Trunk, go find the Guru, go find there. There's a lot of them out there doing it. The Chris Jericho's interviews everyone. You can find those guys doing all of that. Totally cool. Have at it, guys. What we're going to be doing over here is more cutting it up, going over topics, but going over them with humor and finding out the fucking ridiculousness of some of this shit. But today's show will have a more serious tone because, as Andrew's going to bring up right now, someone you guys are all familiar with by the name of Stephen Piercy recently fired his, I would say, as a road manager, not really business manager. I think it was the road manager, right? I think, doesn't Christie handle his
Yeah, he's
business
store
affairs per
manager.
se?
Right.
Yeah. So fired his road manager after some time, who you are all familiar with from the Waste Some Time with Jason Green podcast. And we can get into Jason and the accusations going back and forth here a little bit. It also involves someone that Andrew does know more personally in Eric Ferentinos, the guitar player for Stephen Piercy's solo band. And I'm just going to go on record before we start this, Andrew, and say that Blotzer was right all along. But go ahead.
He absolutely was. Well, first of all, I want to address this, but I'm gonna do a Neely style segue where I keep it all relevant here. Um, so if people had noticed, obviously I was very involved in the beginning, and then I wasn't so involved anymore. And that actually goes back to what Evil had said with some of the interviews, because to quote Stephen Piercy, I would be sitting there thinking, I can't take it. And that's pretty much what happened with that. Because some of them were fucking rough to get through. No disrespect to anybody, but I can't sit there and listen to one person just for 3 hours at a time. Um, but getting into the situation at hand with Mr. Greenbaum, and I know a lot of you know that Blotzer was calling him that a couple years ago. That is his actual name. I found that out this week. His name truly is Jason Greenbaum, and he is
Andrew, Blotzer doesn't
well,
lie, bro. Blotzer
no,
doesn't
he does not.
lie.
He
Greenbaum was
goes,
not flying straight.
yeah. He goes by the name Jason Green, as you all know. And he is under some well, he's under a microscope right now. He's been fired, let go from the Stephen Piercy band, as has Johnny Monaco. Johnny was let go for a, a more kind of like shit that just happens in bands kind of reason. Like it just, personality differences. From what I read, they thought that he was kind of doing some Vinnie Vincent style stuff on stage where, he would just keep going and going and going with some of the solos and whatever. That shit happens every day. I just wanted to bring that up, get that out of the way.
And let's
Oh,
be straight, his affiliation with Greenbaum via the show and still appearing on it regularly might be hand in hand there.
yeah, yeah. But the Jason Green stuff is, I'm not going to lie to any of you. Uh, I won't get into specifics, and I know that's kind of annoying, but just trust me, if what I know or I've been told, let me rephrase that. What I have been told is in fact true. I'm sure everybody will hear about it, and it's some fucking serious shit. So, the stuff that has been talked about with the harassment and bullying online, the fraud. There's a lot of that out there going around with people already kind of discussing that in comments, and essentially that goes back to the alleged claim that he ran a Toys for Tot charity drive on his channel back in December. And the claim is that the money may not have gone to Toys for Tots, and he never presented proof that that money went to Toys for Tots. So there's a big integrity issue there, possibly. Um, if you go and you read through the comment section, and this is probably as close as I'm going to come to talking about certain things, read the comments specifically from some of the female people about their encounters. And that's all I'm going to say. I think everybody's smart enough to figure out what that alludes to, allegedly. It doesn't look fucking good, though. So for everybody that is just kind of like, oh, it's just a little misunderstanding, it's far from, far, far fucking from. But um, if you take this back to 2016 when he managed Bobby Blotzer, there's a lot of things that Bobby Blotzer was saying about Jason Green and him being kind of a snaky person and just kind of the way he conducts business. And a lot of that is resurfacing in some of these claims. So I think we all owe the Blotz a fucking apology. So sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, and again, this is alleged rumors, innuendo. This is my opinion. I think part of why Bobby can't find his way back on the drum throne is because of where Green's placement was in the organization. That was going to be a very hard thing to have a road manager managing someone who
Well,
doesn't want to be around someone else. So I'm hoping that this will help bridge the gap between Bobby and Sepp and Warren a little bit, because regardless of Juan, they
on
don't even have to use the rat name. They could just go out there as, I don't know, whatever, out of the cellar or something, some name or whatever, and
WBS.
whatever.
Reform
Yeah,
that.
and
Actually, form
whatever.
that, but legitimately sign that fucking paper.
Yeah, and do it right or whatever. I'm just saying that the Blotz should be back on the kit. He wasn't lying, clearly. You, again, may not like how Blotz delivers things. You may not like his attitude. Maybe he gets drunk and fucking mouths off once in a while and says shit he shouldn't. And I'm not saying he hasn't, because we've seen the posts and then the deleted posts, and he has, you know. And we probably know what's going on there. But he does any of that should preclude him from his job on the kit? No. Part of why that's going on is because he's not on the kit doing what he should be doing. He's at home drunk, fucking pissed off that he's not playing drums. So I'm just saying, I think that I speak for a lot of people in thinking that the more original rats on stage that can do it should do it. If Juan is the one guy that just throws the wrench, which seems to really have been the case, as Blotz was going to claim all along and seems to have happened, then just leave Juan at home and pay him his 20% and stay home, bro. We're going to get somebody else. Matt's doing it for his shekels.
And
So,
stay in the fuck still.
yeah. So that's part of that.
But
But we can
wait.
also,
Because you brought that up. Now here's the part that, because this was all laid out, so this I don't have to be like, oh well, like this I could just freely talk about. Eric flat out said in his post that Jason Green is 100% responsible for why there has not been a rat reunion, because when he pulled his stunt in 2016, which this was put out there in his post, and this is a little bit of what he explained to me that I can talk about. So in 2016, whenever Warren went to sue Blotzer, that's when the second Jason Green heard there was a lawsuit coming. That's when he decided to kind of turn tail and get like, because he didn't want to be sued. And that's when he started kissing Piercy's ass, and he kind of like started playing everybody against each other.
Mhm.
That's why there has not been a rat reunion. It's because Jason Green fractured all those guys' relationships, and the only one that can get along with everybody is Steven.
There you go. And I think, this doesn't this was just my observation from a video I watched on Jason Green's channel sometime back on the Piercy D Martini reunion shows. It was very clear Warren was selling his own merch and handling it with his own merch person. There's a reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, because even at that time, Warren probably was not feeling, and I'm just assuming from what I saw, not comfortable with Green having his hands all over his merchandise. Why would that be? Might be because there's accounting errors. Might be because you're worried about some fraud, some theft or something. Maybe you just don't want that person being tied to you and your likeness and what you're selling, what your product is. All those could be true. None of them could be true. Just seemed awfully odd that there was a whole separate crew of people working Warren's merch. So let's just be clear about this. When there's, let's just say, accusations, we have to get them, of shady, lurky, creeper behavior, do you think, ladies and gentlemen, that Christy, being Sep's wife, if she catches wind of that from other chicks anywhere, a DM, a comment, a post, a this, a phone
Well,
call, a text, or in
he,
person, would she feel comfortable having that person out there on the road representing their organization? Just asking the
ex-
question.
and not just his wife, but a mother and a grandmother as well. So there's children in their lives. Do you really think that they're going to want somebody that might be?
Whatever. It just stains the organization if that's even being accused. And it is. It is. It's
Yes,
out there. So
yes. And that is the part that I wanted to say is regardless of if any of it is true right now, the accusations are floating out there. And until anything is clarified, that should be at least enough to bring caution, correct?
I would. I'm not leaving that person anywhere near my woman or kid if
Ex-
there's
Fucking
creeper or lurker
exactly.
vibes going on or
Exactly.
rumors thereof. And so my point is, and so again, some are going to say, well, we have to wait for the justice.
Okay, but that
How
doesn't
many
mean
other
he can't
times
still
have
be
we seen the
prosecuted.
justice system take far too long to address these issues? There's people out there right now trying to sell you that Timothy Busfield Poindexter, who's been accused of more inappropriate contact with people underage, is not a person who does this. And I'm telling you right now, as someone who grew up in Sacramento and heard the rumors from the B Street Theater years ago, those rumors were out there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. People don't walk around just randomly picking a guy and going, that guy has to be a this, and then just making it up. That doesn't work like that. Especially when there's multiple accusations from different people and over different periods of time, you just have to start asking the question, is there fire where this smoke keeps coming from? So,
Well,
um,
we can also word it like this. Pit bulls are known to be a very vicious breed. Now, you can raise them to be completely nice animals. At the same time, if somebody has a pit, are you going to let your fucking 3-year-old kid get this close to it? Just think about that. Because it's still a
so,
possibility.
and we're not even, I'm saying this is just a broad statement and it is true because you can go Google it and look. In the entertainment industry, on all levels, in Hollywood, in the music business, Broadway, everywhere, there's fucking people doing shady shit, sharks stealing your money, people trying to fuck your kid, all that stuff. I'm just saying, they're out there and they embed themselves in these industries, and some of them are at the top, as we're clearly seeing. So,
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
so uh, for someone of Stephen Piercy's stature, he wants nothing to do with any of that. As soon as he catches wind of it, you're probably just going to be sacked. That's all there is to it. He's not waiting around for a judge, jury, executioner. He's just going to say, hey, dude, there's too much shit going on here. I don't like it. I don't like the way it smells. Business is done. Moving on, as he said, moving on next. Because he's been in the industry and he's had to fire other managers before. This isn't something new. He probably caught wind with some other managers in the past. The shit that didn't smell right and had to can them too. Whether that's business or financial or their attitude or the way they deal with people, the way they treat women, the way they treat children, the way they treat animals. Remember, I mean, certain musicians have roundly kicked other musicians out of bands because of how they treated a dog. These things happen. But what I'm trying to say here is that on top of all that, we have, and I think this is not an accusation in my opinion, but maybe to other people it is, um, alleged rumor, innuendo, but it did seem that again he tried to make videos when Eric's having a heart attack and then monetize him for his channel and throw him out there and
Yeah.
like all this stuff, and it's like
Which is
that's not
shitty.
cool. It's just not cool, dude. This is a shitty way to be. And it was very clear if you watch those old tour diaries before he took him down that there was no love between him and Eric. It was a very kind of tense moment each time Eric was on the thing, and I was like, why is that? It obviously explains it now. I'm not saying either one's right or wrong. I'm saying is that both have fired shots. Well, I don't know. Jason's kind of been radio silent about the whole matter, hasn't he? Largely, I don't think he's.
Well, since the allegations have started, he's, from what I can understand, has been silent. But he used to pop his mouth off all the fucking time,
Yeah, but I'm
and he
saying
popped
since
his
being
mouth off
fired from
about
SEP, I don't think he's actually addressed. I was fired from Piercy because of
no,
X, Y,
no,
and
because
Z.
that was part of what Eric said as well. Is that, and he won't even be honest with his audience about what happened. He just kind of is letting them believe whatever they want to
Yeah.
believe right now that he's still involved or what the fuck ever.
But in the end, if you guys all remember, if you're a CMS fan, you know Blotz said he wasn't flying straight. He said the guy
Yeah.
was not on the ups.
I
He
can I
said
can
he
just
said people that had got with Greenbaum were going to end up on a legal dance floor. I think that's Blotzer's way of telling you people that this
don't
shit isn't just like, oh, I'm going to sue you for saying something wrong. This means it might end up on a real legal dance floor in a federal court of law somewhere, where some people might be facing time or serious punishments and whatever, punitive damages or community service. I don't know what they do with these people. My point is, I'm not that guy. My point is, that was Blotzer's veiled way of telling you all this guy is when he said he was a snake, he said he was a snake in the grass. That tells you that he's saying, and he's got Blotz has been in the music business since 80 or 70, whatever, with Don. He's seen some snakes in the grass during his time as a rocker. He's calling this guy a snake in the grass. I'm just saying, guys. You can say he's a D, and he is, but he's not lying to you. He's telling you the truth when he said those things. So, or his opinion of the truth.
yeah.
But it's largely, I think, as proving out as the lens of time has proven to be accurate. So, and that's why we're not getting the rat reunion. And probably going to see some legal action at some point in time, I imagine, between Ferentinos and Piercy versus Green, or maybe not. I
Right.
don't know. Maybe
Well,
Green will just ignore it and walk away. I don't know. Remember, Green threatened to sue Blotzer. Didn't happen, I don't think. I don't think there was any actual lawsuits between the two. It was just a lot of war of words, and then they walked away.
yeah. The other part that I wanted to discuss about this is people are saying, "Well, this just happened this week," and no, it didn't. I've known about it for a month. He's been at least gone since the beginning of January, and because he's been kind of leading his audience on and acting like he's still within that camp, I think that's what was the final straw to where Eric was like, "Nah, fuck this. Hey, this guy's not part of us anymore, so I don't appreciate that he's still putting videos out."
And
Matter of
I think
fact,
he had a pretty good stack of tour diaries he was still trying to release in
right,
order
and
to
he was
capitalize
kind of
on that.
portraying those as if it's still, and this is where I had my final interaction with Jason Green before I fucking deleted him off my Facebook. But there was a thread where people tagged him because Steven had announced his 2026 tour dates and went, "Can't wait to see Jason Green out there," and all that. And I went, "Don't get your hopes up for it." And Jason Green commented back to me and went, "False, there will be 16 new tour diaries." And then I hit him back with, "Yeah, because you already pre-recorded them. You're not getting anything from this year." And then suddenly that was the no response. And that was
So
like 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, it's been going on for a minute, and for those of you saying, well, some are saying Jason Green got Sepp back. No, come
no,
on,
we didn't.
no. He
No.
Sepp was doing gigs before Green ever entered the picture. Sepp will do gigs after Green leaves the picture. The only thing that got Sepp bigger paydays and bigger gigs was teaming up with Warren, which
Yeah. Which
getting
is what
Bobby would
always
only do better business. And if Green's standing in the way of better business as a businessman, it would be Sepp's smart business to kick this problem out of the way. So there's that. There's some that, what was the other defense they had of the situation? Oh, some were saying it doesn't matter to Greenbaum's channel. Look at Easterwell. Yeah, he has all these viewers right now. As people realize there's no more Sepp tour diaries, those were some of his most viewed videos. I don't care what you say. A lot of those were getting a lot of clicks. So I actually today thumbed through some of his things and figured out that the ones that have the most views are music related, where he's on the cruises and so forth. Some of the interview ones that have his least amount of views. So, yes, it is going to affect his channel overall. Otherwise, he would never have filmed them at all, ladies and gentlemen. Greenbaum's not an idiot. If it was getting him no views, he wouldn't have kept doing them. If he was getting no views, he wouldn't keep trying to release them afterwards. He's trying to release them and spare them out because he's hoping that will keep generating some traffic towards his channel. So, the reality of what's going on versus what people think in their head is just like what. So again, Stephen Piercy was selling platinum records. Green Bomb was in shorts like I was, or whatever. So it's just not. That's just he doesn't. A road manager is a road manager, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of road managers out there. A lot of guys will step up tomorrow to be the road manager for Piercy, and probably not bring a tour diary and do it with less hassle. So
Right.
I'm just saying. Really, that was something I always questioned. Why was Piercy being so lenient to letting him do that so often? It's kind of different when you're the artist. If you want to make your own whatever diaries and cool, you're the guy in it. I mean, but sometimes it felt a little invasive. If I was the guy in the band and this other dude's constantly bringing a camera in my face to record every time I'm fucking talking about having a fucking muffin, I'm gonna get annoyed.
Yeah. And something's telling me that Blas Elias isn't going to miss. Oh, here comes the hunk of the month being said to him every 5 fucking seconds, every goddamn day.
Was it not odd and weird that
It was
Green
right.
is constantly predisposed with this like fascination with everything cuck, the cuck couch, the cuck chair,
Cup
the cuck
couch,
desk,
cup
the cuck
chair.
table, the cuck bed, the cuck wall, the cuck closet. He did a cuck bathroom with a cuck wall to view over to the bed to be a cuck from
Yep.
above. He's cucking all the time. So clearly his
And,
mind is on some.
and he's always complimenting Blas Elias's looks, and then admitted in the one video that, well, I got together with Michelle because she was fascinated that I interviewed Blas Elias, and then that's how I slid into her DMs. Which, by the way, I want to bring something up with that. It's not going to be what you think it is, but somebody had, because all these people are like, she's a lawyer, she's a lawyer, she's a lawyer, she's a lawyer, and then somebody finally kind of corrected them on that. I don't know if this is true, but it would make sense if it was. That went, no, she went to law school. She passed the bar degree or the bar exam to get a degree only to do nothing with it. So, just saying, people, just because you went to the schooling doesn't mean that you went into the profession. So, let's just be clear about that.
Yeah, I had one person tell me, "Don't mess with that lady. She's a lawyer." And further research found she was a paralegal. Well, that's not a lawyer. I mean, she
No.
works in the legal's off in the lawyer's office, filing the paperwork and doing the phones and whatever, writing some stuff up. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean she's the actual lawyer.
Yeah.
So people again, they just don't know. And again, we're saying alleged Green because we don't know what you're up to. We just know there's been a lot of weird things going on. Blotzer said it. Now Sepp's saying it. Ferentinos is saying it. Warren didn't seem to want to have you to handle in his cash flow. Just saying.
Warren didn't
And
seem to want anything to fucking do with it. Because if you remember, every time he said, I want to get Warren involved in these videos, and he keeps telling me no.
And so I'm just saying it just doesn't smell right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, he's got Donnie V on the show, and now he's trying to sniff around a Monaco Donnie V. Can I get Chip and make this, or at least Donnie and Monaco, and make them go play Enough's Enough, so I have something to go road manage. That's what I think he's trying to do.
That's what I
Um,
think.
yeah, and if you remember correctly, wasn't there some of the Sin City centers were cool with him, but some weren't. Some were like, no,
Yeah.
I'm done with him. Okay. So there was a
Well,
reason for that, right?
the only one that was cool with him was Scotty Griffin because he's the lead singer in Jason Green's band in that Sin City Rejects.
So I'm just saying, it seems like there
Everybody else
seems to be
was like,
a falling out there repeatedly, and a lot of it involves Greenbaum. And so, um, weirdness. And I always said to you in chats, and I've been saying this all along, I like watching the tour diaries because I like to just see the places they're going to, the
yeah,
venues, the cities. Some of them I've been to, some I've never been to. And the ones I didn't never been to are the ones I was curious about. Um, but it did always he makes me feel like he's a used car salesman. He's a former porn guy, and that's probably the vibe I'm catching here. It's a sleazeball, skeezy vibe, and the New York City attitude, which I hate. I don't like. I don't mind people from New York City. I don't like the attitude. It's the
no,
sometimes they have a shitty fucking attitude, and they think that they're
it
better
definitely.
than, and it's like, what? You're a fucking idiot.
I can say this, that, and you already know this, that I've been around him like in person twice. He wasn't a dick to me, but that vibe is very apparent in person. With you can feel somebody's energy, and you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
You do feel it.
Yeah.
At least I did.
So I always thought that was present, and so it just didn't appeal to me. I always knew this is not the kind of person I'd ever want to hang out with or talk to. Do we have some similarities, I guess, in the sense that I like old TV sitcoms, but even that, I don't need him to take me to them. All the things he's taken you to, Lamont at Large and all these other guys have already done and been there and showed you the TV show shooting locations in Los Angeles and all these places. So it's already out there, all the cemeteries and all this shit. So you know what I'm saying is like there's no breaking new ground there. You're just watching a different guy do the shit. And so I don't need that. And so yeah, now I'm also going to openly say this. I have not been able to catch on to Eric Ferentinos' shows like a lot of other people have. I was enjoying some Cap here and there when they would talk about music. I'm not a horror. I don't mind horror movies. There's some I like. I'm just also not a junkie, and I don't most certainly want to dive into D-level horror movies. And so there's just like topics there that I'm just not interested in. There's nothing I don't.
Raise your horns